Have you ever heard a phrase and thought, what do they mean by that? In today's video, I'm going to share with you 20 important business English phrases, and I'm going to do it through stories. These are not based on real people, but to make it more relatable for yourself when listening. My name's Carl, and I'm an English language coach. I help non-native English speakers upgrade their English, not just for their professional, but also their personal lives. The following examples are not just there so that you understand what others mean when they use them, but will also be there for potentially for you to use so that you can be more professional and confident with your English at work. So let's do this. First up, we have Timmy. He's a software engineer at an international tech company, and his boss has said to him, at the end of the day, Timmy, we need to make sure our clients are satisfied. At first, Timmy was confused by it needing to be at the end of the day. Why at the end of the day? But as soon as he realized it was about summarizing the most important point. At the end of the day, this phrase is used to summarize and express importance on the most important point. At the end of the day, that is the main focus. Let's continue. Timmy also noticed his manager frequently asked for the bottom line during meetings. Once during the project discussion, his manager said, "The bottom line is that we need to increase the speed of our progress." This phrase helped everyone focus on the key objective. The bottom line refers to the most important aspect or final result. For example, the bottom line is to increase sales so that we can increase revenue in the company. Meanwhile, Jack, a sales executive, needed to arrange a quick check-in with a client. He ended his email, "Let's touch base next week to discuss the project." Jack found touch base to be a great way to say, let's get in contact. Touch base. This means to contact or to communicate with someone, typically slightly less informal way of saying something. And this is typically something that is brief, a quick conversation. Let's touch base next week to discuss the project. Then there's Alex, an operations manager who had to ensure everything was done properly. His supervisor often reminded him, "We need to do this by the book." Initially, Alex thought this meant reading a manual along the way, but essentially it simply meant following a process. By the book, this means to do things according to rules and following procedures. But not everything went well for Mia, a marketing strategist. When her campaign proposal was rejected, her team had to go back to the drawing board. It was frustrating but necessary to come up with a better plan. Back to the drawing board. This means to start afresh because the current plan is not working. For example, our proposal was rejected, so we need to go back to the drawing board. Communication was crucial for Rachel, a team lead. She often made sure her team was on the same page to avoid misunderstandings and ensure everyone knew their roles. On the same page. Now you would use this term to express that everyone agrees and understands where they are at. For example, we need to stay on the same page. If plans changed mid-project and they had to go back to the drawing board, then you then need to make sure everyone's on the same page with the new plans going ahead. During a collaboration, David, a business development manager, secured a deal beneficial for both companies. He called it a win-win situation. It perfectly described a scenario where everyone gains. A win-win situation is a situation where both parties benefit. For example, a sales executive selling a product, they will win and earn more bonuses, and it's a win for them and a win for the company at the same time. So it's a win-win situation. Creativity was key for Lisa, a product lead. When stuck on a problem, her manager encouraged her to think outside the box, inspiring her to come up with innovative solutions. Think outside the box. That means to think creatively and not be limited to conventional ideas. For example, we need to think outside the box to solve this problem. However, Tom, a finance analyst, often found that some decisions were still up in the air during budget meetings, meaning they were uncertain and yet to be finalized. Up in the air. This means something that's uncertain or undecided yet. For example, the precise details on the contract were still up in the air. Sometimes Timmy's team had to prioritize urgent tasks and put others on the back burner. This was essential to managing their workload effectively. On the back burner. This means to postpone or delay something. For example, this project needs to go on the back burner. For now, let's focus on more urgent tasks. In fast-paced meetings, Emma, a project coordinator, often had to cut to the chase. She learned to get to the main point quickly, which saved time. Cut to the chase. This means to get to the point without wasting any time. For example, let's cut to the chase and discuss the main issue. When estimating costs, John, a procurement manager, frequently asked them for a ballpark figure. This means to give an estimate, an approximate, educated guess of a number. For example, can you give me a ballpark figure for the entire project cost? Strategic planning required Emily, a senior analyst, to always consider the bigger picture. It helped her understand how their work fit into the company's overall goals. The bigger picture. This means the grand perspective in a situation. When you're working in your own team, you're working directly towards your goals. In the bigger picture of the company, that would be something totally different. To launch new initiatives, Mark, a product manager, knew they had to get the ball rolling. He loved the excitement of starting new projects. Get the ball rolling. This means to start something, for example, let's get the ball rolling on a new marketing campaign. To get the ball rolling is a common term to say, let's get things going. Staying updated was key for Natalie, a communications specialist. She always made sure to keep everyone in the loop about the latest developments. In the loop, this means to be updated, to keep informed on the latest information. For example, keep me in the loop about any developments on the project. Anna, a tech lead, admired companies that were ahead of the curve. She saw how innovation could set them apart from competitors. Ahead of the curve, this means to be more advanced or successful than competition. For example, our new product design puts us ahead of the curve. During crucial negotiations, Frank, a legal advisor, needed to ensure everyone was on the same wavelength to avoid misunderstandings. Similar to on the same page, on the same wavelength, this means to have the same understanding or opinion on something. For example, it's important that we're on these same wavelength during these negotiations so that we're both leading towards the same goal. Addressing sensitive issues was tough for Beth, a HR manager. She had to discuss the elephant in the room, the company's restructuring plans. The elephant in the room. This means the problem that no one wants to discuss. The elephant in the room, in that case, was the company restructuring plans. Another example is the CEO knowing that the company is not growing at the rate it's expected to, and therefore having to make potential cuts in the company. Carlos, the new intern, took a few weeks to learn the ropes, but with patience and guidance from his colleagues, he managed to get up to speed. Learn the ropes. This means to understand how things work. For example, it took me a few weeks to learn the ropes in my new job, but then after a while, I really got the hang of things. Maria, a sales manager, always aimed to raise the bar for service standards, striving for excellence in her department. Raise the bar. This simply means to set standards higher. And a bonus one, because you're here until the end, Carl, the English language coach, said, in a nutshell, my job is to help you upgrade your English. In a nutshell, this phrase is typically used to summarize, to make a conclusion on a point. So there you have it, 20 phrases for your next meeting. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you took something valuable from this video. Let me know some of your thoughts. I'd love to hear more about them in the comments below, and if you plan to use some of these in the near future. So until the next time, start upgrading your English today. Take care and keep moving forward.